Let's talk about what I do when it's mid-September and they're calling for 3 to 5 inches of snow when it's been in the mid-70s for the past week. I do what any sane homesteader/farmer would do. I fall to the ground on my pre-prepared blankets and roll myself into a burrito, wiggle-worming my way around until I am able to get 2 layers, because this is a 2-layer burrito situation, people. It is September, and we're getting 3 to 5 inches of snow for the night. I'm going to flail around and kick and scream like a toddler, even if my dog is very worried for my sanity in the background. He's looking at me wondering where his next meal is going to come from, because obviously I'm not sane enough to provide it. I will do that until I'm so tired that I can't move. Taking out this energy makes me feel a little less depressed and dark in my life, so I can relax and be more of an adult and prepare for the inevitable doom that I am going to face over the next couple of days or so. Morning, everyone. I thought you might like to have a baby bunny update, and here to help me with that I have Sadie and Penguin. Some of you might know Penguin as Moo. My child renamed him, so his name is Penguin now. Sadie is one of our runts, and Penguin is one of our larger rabbits. We have finally got them weaned, so I no longer have bottle babies, and here within the next day or so, we're going to start separating out our males and females, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we will have a new update for you for weight and everything else, but these little boogers are doing amazing. They are gaining weight steadily, and I think we're to that point where I can start treating them as junior weighted babies, and I can start weighing them out every week instead of every day. So here are 2 of our little babies. They are just so sweet, this litter, and I am super excited. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Here comes my friend! Hello, friend! Welcome! There they come! There they are! Here comes my friend! Welcome! Here they come! There they go! There they are! Welcome, friend! Here's my motherfucking friend!
Let's talk about what I do when the hose freezes and I still have to get water to my ducks and chickens. I deliver it from hand from the spigot. I'm not as keen as filling up the pool with the Singularity scoop as I am to the water, but I do ensure that they do have fresh water, and during the winter when it's harder to keep things unfrozen, we will go ahead and take one of these Singularity pitchers and fill up on the water once every couple of hours to ensure that they do have water during the cold season and that it doesn't freeze, because it is important that you have fresh water for your chickens and your ducks at all times. There's my rooster of the hour right there, savior of the flock. I'm still a little mad at him about my duck, but he deserves a treat tonight. So for those of you who don't know, this is what my flock looks like. And the reason all of these guys are kind of attacking the pool is because for the past 2 hours, they've been on lockdown in the coop. Why have they been on lockdown in the coop? Because we just had a hawk incident. Now I work from home, and I'm sitting at my computer, and I hear asshole's war cry, right? It's different from his cawing. It is his I am going to kill anything that gets near me call, right? So I immediately jump up from my desk, come running out here, right? Because I figured he was after one of my ducks again, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a broomstick in hand. I was ready to whack him off of something, and depending on how bad the damage was, either we were going to have another timeout session, or we were going to have to find a new rooster. But apparently I need to have a little more faith in my big old boy right here. Because I come outside, and asshole's not attacking another chicken or another duck. Asshole is attacking a hawk. The hawk had one of our young roosters in its clutches, and this rooster was going head to head with it. Now, mind you, this hawk was only the size of Crow, but even then, this rooster understood the assignment. So I went running out, and I made sure that our big ol' rooster had a moment, right? That he was safe and that he could do his job, because I had come out a little late and he was already wrestling with the hawk, but he already had most of his girls and most of the roosters already in the coop protecting them, right? Once we got the other rooster out of the clutches of the hawk, he went running down to collect up the 4 others that were stuck under a tree, ran them up to the coop. Once they were safe, we realized that Rosie wasn't in there. Rosie was hiding in our little coop right there. An asshole went running over to Rosie, grabbed her, and started pushing her towards the other coop. That was the fastest time I've ever seen all of our chickens pushed into the coop, so asshole did his job well. He is such a good rooster when he wants to be. So, good job, rooster. Good job. You're still an asshole, hence your name. Good job. Let's talk about isolation for a minute. This is Nico. He is one of my younger ducks, and him and Asshole got into a bit of a fight a few days ago. He's in isolation currently to heal his beak and kind of get a little R&R before I put him back with the flock. I don't like to isolate birds very often because they are a flock and social animal. If they don't have some kind of or they aren't too injured, I do like to pair them up in isolation, which seems kind of ironic since you call it isolation. But in this case, I was really worried that Nico wasn't going to make it because of how badly injured his beak was. So he was in here alone. But as you can see, he is doing amazingly well and his beak is starting to heal. With having a cracked beak and talking to our avian vet, they said as long as he's given a little time to relax and, just heal, it should grow out like a broken nail. So, isolation, it's fun. They get their own little hotel in the garage where it's warmer than outside. They get their own access to food, water, and a little place that they can hide from me. The only downfall to this, other than it being a bit of extra work, is the fact that it is kind of dusty in here, but we'll open up the doors so that some of this dust can dissipate and they can get some fresh air. So I did answer your question with a little text, but I think it's better if I also answer it with a video because it allows me to get into a little more depth. The reason why I have so many animals, other than, well, because I want them, is because a lot of them are for our food supply. For instance, all of our ducks, chickens, rabbits, we'll eventually eat all of them. With that being said, I do threaten the goat every once in a while, but I think he's calling my bluff on me eating him. But the other animals are just for our enjoyment. We have 4 cats inside, 3 dogs, a parrot. I'm not sure if you would include our children as animals. Sometimes I think they fit the mark. But really, it's just because they bring us happiness. And we have the means and the time to take care of them and do what we need to do in order to run a farm. And a lot of it is just sustainability on our own and doing what we can. Other than that, it is a lot of work and it is a lot of money in some instances, but I don't think all of that really matters when you're just happy in life. So if you can afford it and you have the means, why not, Let's talk about Max today. Max is a 3-year-old pygmy goat who is constantly getting out of his enclosure and trying to eat my grain because he's a bad boy. He's such a bad boy. Goodbye, Max. Max, you hungry? You want me to open the gate? Yeah, you want me to open the barn door? We know where your grain is, yes. You want me to open the barn door? Yeah, I should open the barn door. Ouch. I should open the barn door. Yeah. Max is the goober of the farm. He also kind of thinks he's a dog and will play with them. But he also thinks he's Dally's baby, so he's not really sure what he is. He can be a goat, he can be a dog, he can be a pain in my butt. Let's talk about squishy eggs today. Squishy eggs are eggs that are laying without a shell, like this one right here. They're extremely fun to play with and kind of hard to break through that little plasticky inner shell. There's a multitude of reasons why one of my hens could be laying squishy eggs. They could be lacking calcium in their diet, or this could just be a fluke of their reproductive system. Whatever the reason, I will ensure that the hens get more calcium, and if I do figure out which hen... Yeah? You found them?
It was not really, like everything was too heavy. It was on the other side.
Oh, okay.
On this side.
Oh, good to know. My 4-year-old has decided that we need to keep this squishy egg as a form of her own entertainment, which is fine, but it is understood that if you do have an egg like this, it still spoils like a regular egg and it's easy to break. So most of the time it's just kept in the fridge. Normally I would just discard these eggs and give them to the dogs, but in this case I'll let her keep it for a couple of days before the egg fairy takes it. In case you were wondering, this is the egg fairy. He's vicious for his eggs. Let's talk about what I do when I have way too many eggs and we're getting ready to set up for winter, because I don't get as many then. I'll take my eggs and wash them before putting them into little cupcake tins like the one you see here. Make sure you grease your cupcake tins before you put the eggs in, or else they're going to stick for the next step. I throw them in the freezer for about 6 hours until they look like this. Pop them out, put them in a little baggie, label it, and throw it in the freezer for later. Let's talk about why I have a random bowl of empty shells that I keep in my fridge. It's a free calcium supplement for my hens, and as some of you know, if you watched my squishy egg video, you understand that one of my hens is boycotting putting a shell around her egg. So I'm going to take these shells and I am going to turn them into calcium dust. How do I do it? Well, glad you asked. I take my shells and I put them into a pan, and I will put them in the oven at about 180 degrees for the next 3 hours or so, or until they're nice and crispy but not burned. Once they are done in the oven, I will put the shells into my lovely mortar and pestle that looks like a puppy dog. I crush it up until it's a fine powder, and then I mix it in with the bird's food. I find that there's no need to waste eggshells when you can just throw them back into your bird's food and give them a nice little calcium supplement when it could cost you money off the back end. So, have fun with this nice little trick, especially if you're like me and you're getting about 12 eggs a day. Bye. Let's talk about why I separate Mushu from Dallas while they are eating. Though Mushu's not opposed to sharing, Dallas is quite opposite. She can be a little food aggressive, so I try to keep them separated if I have the means and the time, so that Mushu can eat his hay as well as his feed in peace. Though Dallas does get a scoop of grain a day just to keep her little heart happy, Mushu is a little different. He gets grain twice a day along with beet pulp and a fattener so that he can keep his weight on because he is considered a senior horse and can be difficult to keep weight on. I also think it's kind of fun that all of the chickens are just waiting for him to drop some grain. Poor Mushu. Always has to share with somebody. But at least with the chickens, he can take his time, and if need be, he can boss them around more than he can boss Dally around. So, until Mushu picks up weight, or until Dallas has decided she's done being a butthead at feed time, I'll continue to separate them, that way they both stay nice, fat, and happy. Let's talk about what we do when it's a rainy day on the farm, and I don't really want to do anything. The answer to that is I do everything the exact same. I go out, I feed the animals, make sure everyone's good to go. I try to feed up on top of things so that the food doesn't get soggy or gross. But other than that, everything stays the same. We do get stuck inside, which makes the dogs a little more testy, but we'll find something to do. Mostly quilts or clean or something along those lines until the rain goes away. New idea for TikTok. Madison quilts everything in her encyclopedia. I'm 25, but I like quilting. I feel like an old woman at times, but it's glorious. So I have this encyclopedia of classic quilt patterns, and we can just go through it together and like quilt. It'll be fun. We can start at the beginning and just flip through till the end, enjoying the quilting progress and maybe do a little story time in between. We can start on the back of this one though, because this is my current work in progress that I've been doing for 2 years and dragging my feet on, because it's applique. I hate applique. But this project is super important to me because it is a gift to my mother-in-law and she picked it out herself. So I need a little more accountability in getting it done. So my goal is to have it done by Christmas. And if I take y'all along on this journey, then I have to get it done because maybe y'all will be interested in some pretty quilting moments. Either way, I got a lot of flowers to stitch. So I'll see y'all soon with the first block.